Hi, I'm Charmayne James, and I'm here with Dr. Anderson, and we're going to be talking about why it is so important to have good nutrition when you're on the road. All those years traveling, nutrition played a big role for me and my horses, and we'll just get your 2 cents on what you say about feeding your horse down the road.
Well, it is very important, Charmaine, and I think too many people don't really compensate for the stress those animals are going through when they're traveling. And one of the things that I'm a real stickler about is to keep a horse's digestive tract full and working all the time they're traveling. And I think you and I have talked about that, and you and I agree that when you leave home, you really should have some feed with you at all times, and not just on the top of the trailer or in the dressing room either, but you need to have some in front of the horse. The best way to keep a horse calm and quiet and content is to have them doing something. They're an animal that wants to be touching something, eating something, doing something all the time. So if you can keep some of your feed in front of that horse, whether it's maybe some hay cubes or hay pellets or whatever supplement or program you're feeding, you keep that in the pan at all times, and also have water available. Because you don't know when that horse wants a drink of water, and if you're on the road for several hours and then you stop, well, that horse maybe wanted a drink an hour ago and started to dehydrate. Because especially in warm weather, they can dehydrate pretty fast, as you well know.
Right.
That environment can, and even in the wintertime when the temperature is low and the humidity is really low, they can suck the water out of their hide real fast. So I really strongly suggest that people keep that feed in front of them, especially if it's a safe feed to feed where you can feed them all they want without worrying about colic. Like a good extruded feed, you can keep them in front of them all the time, 24 hours while you're traveling, and literally self-feed it, and they will just be always hydrated, always have that gut working properly, and you run a very low risk of any digestive problems.
And like you said, it's very stressful traveling down the road, and when you've got that feed in front of them, it just helps calm them. They're a little more at ease, and so I've seen people take off first thing in the morning without any feed in the trailer. They go run at a rodeo and come home when that horse hadn't had any feed, and then I've seen problems with that horse the days after that.
Sure, that's when they're going to run out of gas. The effects of getting them overtired or stressing those muscles with not enough nutrients will show up, not today, but tomorrow and the next day. It's usually the day after I exercise that I get the sorest. I know that.
Right.
And they're no different than I am.
Right.
And the other thing is, if you're feeding an extruded feed, you can literally feed that 100%. While you're traveling. I have people that do that feed very little, if any, hay when they're on the road. And you can get by with that if you have a feed that's not going to colic them by changing the volume real quick.
Correct.
You can actually increase or double the feed intake before you leave. While you're on the road, double it or let them have all they want. When you get home, drop back, and the horse is going to stay stronger. They don't get tired, and when they walk out of the trailer, they're going to be ready to go to work. They don't have that sore muscle feel.
Right.
It's like...
And they can run faster, stop the clock faster.
Exactly.
Let me ask you one more question. What about horses that go a long time without drinking water?
Dehydration is an enemy of the horse, and it not only cuts their performance, but it can cause colic. And that's some of the colic we find every winter is lack of water intake. But the same thing can happen if you're on the road a long time. You don't have water in that trailer. They'll get a bellyache. They're no different than we are. If we stop drinking water, if we don't get the water, probably not going to eat much food either. And then all of a sudden we get real thirsty. We drink a bunch of water. We get a bellyache. Then we get real hungry, we eat a bunch of food. And if we don't keep these things balanced on a regular basis, we will have some digestive upsets.
It's real simple. It's real simple.
Real simple.
Good food and water, but it takes doing it. It takes extra time to stop and have that water with you. So,
yes.
Anyway, good luck on your travels, and thank you, Dr. Anderson.
Thank you.